from Beat Skills, and what I want to do today is show you some special ways of using Slam Dawg, especially on drum loops which might be mixed already together or stems of sounds. And so you might not have control over the different elements of a mixed stem. And the Slam Dawg can also, pretty much just by itself bring out a lot of flavors and color. So I will also emphasize on the workings of pop and crush and really how they function and how to use them to get an optimal sound that's in your head, because it's a new type of process, a new type of plugin. I'll show you how I use it and how you guys can use it to improve your sounds. So this is a drum loop. Actually, it's drums I tracked out from my MPC 2500. There's nothing on these. I mean, there's no plugin on this. It was tracked clean straight to my Apollo interface. Let's listen to just the dry loop. Great. So it already sounds it's raw, but it sounds nice. It's got a kind of movement. It's got a groove going. So I will insert one instance of Slam Dawg. Let's get Slam Dawg going. And I'll be sculpting the sound and then talking to you about how and what I'm doing. So let's start tweaking some controls here. So you can very clearly hear that I've added a very nice low end to the entire beat. And this process is very unique because Boom is actually a bass enhancing space plugin, and what it can do is add harmonics to the sound. So this is not some kind of an EQ generally. Then we have the thumb control, which I use to bring in more of the kick, and then the mud out, of course, to bring in a little bit under 50 hertz. So what we've done is build the low end part of the beat and added a little bit of the heat, which is saturation, tube saturation to the sound, giving it a little more bottom and giving it a little boom, which sounds pleasant, because we know that beats without a nice bass don't really find the fancy of users or listeners. They like to have a nice low end which is pleasing to hear. And now what I'm going to do next is going to start compressing the beat. Now, again, this takes time. So don't usually just react to the first few tweaks that you make, and also to understand the relationship between the pop compressor and the crush limiter. In this case, like I've mentioned before, the pop compressor goes into the crush. So what I will do in this case is first I'll start limiting the beat, making it a little cohesive and tight without any punchy characteristics at the first point. And then we will dial in the pop control to see what difference it makes. So let's start. So you can hear that the crush has basically made the beat louder, it's compressed it, but it's keeping the transients smooth. There's no pumping or there's no artifacts, there's no attack popping out. It's just making it a little more cohesive. Now what I will do now is dial in the pop control so that we can add a little more of the punch and the thrust. Now the pop control is designed to emulate a very popular American compressor which has a nice punch circuit in it, and which is one of my favorites. I think it's a really awesome compressor, especially for dance music and for rock drums and things like that. So and of course it really works superb on hip hop beats where you have thick snares, thick kick drums, hats, and just makes everything really pleasing sounding. Because like some mix engineers describe it, compression is a kind of movement that you're looking for. It's not just dB reduction and all of that. And that's how I wanted to look at sound with this plugin. I did not intentionally make it complex to look at just technical terms. I am technical. I mean, believe me, there's no question that that's how I made the plugin. I'm also a computer engineer, and I've been engineering records for almost like 17 years now. Um, and I understand and I look at compressors now from a different aspect. I don't look at it like an engineer that I am. I look at it more like something that gives you a feeling. So I'll stop my yapping and I'll show you what I can do with this. Now you heard the kind of change. Suddenly, from this track, which was very cohesive and tight, I've brought back the punchy kick and snare transients just with a little bit of the pop dial. Now, I mean, make no mistake, pop is really a sensitive dial and it is intended to be that way. It is not by any mistake. Because as you saw, when I use the crush dial, it has already limited the sound, and then I'm dialing in the pop dial, which is bringing back the punchy transients of kick and snare. So if you use it in this method, you might find that you'll get results quicker for a specific type of music, especially hip hop. Of course, there's no limitation. You can do it the other way. You can go pop first and then crush. And then, of course, because I've compressed the sound, it's lost a bit of, the clarity in the top end. So I'm going to dial that back with airs and see how it sounds. Now, immediately, if you notice the raw drum track, you don't like it anymore because it shows you what it didn't have. And it didn't have a lot of body and a bottom end, which makes the whole track sound tight, cohesive, and full. So, once you have the Slam Dawg on and you've tweaked the settings to sound really good to your particular taste, you will feel that it was always like that from the beginning. You will never feel that this was not present in the original material, and that's what Slam Dawg does. It can do anything like this, or it can even crush your beats. You can go really hard with it. In this, I'm also going to dial back a little bit of the original signal with the tri-parallel system, so it gets back a little bit of the original flavor. Let's listen. Sorry about that, I had the switch off at that point of time. Anyways, it's back on and let's listen. Usually to create an effect like this, it would normally take you many plugins, and it'll take you parallel buses, and it will take you plugins on every track, and then working together, then parallel and this and that, and some saturation plugin. Now this plugin has made that job really easy and given you a true original taste of real outboard hardware, giving you that warmth, giving you that punch. This is a very carefully designed plugin, and I intend everyone to take this plugin to be something which is all in one, but yet every process is very well modeled and designed to make your beats or synths or bass sound good. And sometimes you might not even need all the controls. You just might want to pull up a little bit of air in the vocals or in the drum bus or even in your synths, or you might like to heat up your pianos and EPs and not really use the low end section at all. And that's totally up to you and to the kind of material. And hence we have so many different flavors and controls in this, yet you don't have to go crazy with compression and tweaking a million parameters. It's there. There are two compressors. They work serially, and they can get you the sound. And I just showed you a methodology where I used crush before and pop. So let me know what you think about the plugin, and leave us a comment below in this video. Subscribe to our channel if you want to know more about our upcoming plugins, and get tutorials on how to use Slam Dawg for our existing customers and for people who might be looking at the plugin. And ask me questions. I'll be very happy to answer them for you and be in touch with you. And thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.